What's going on, everybody? Man, we talking about Impact Wrestling for the night, and it's September the 3rd, 2014. We're talking about Impact Wrestling, and good gravy, guys. We're getting close. We are getting really close to Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory is in October, and I was thinking about today. I was like, man, Bound for Glory is still a long time away. And I was like, wait a minute, September, October? Oh, no, it's not. It's not as long away as we think it is. First off, guys, before we even get into TNA things, besides that little tidbit right there, guys, I just want to thank you guys for your viewership last week. Whoever came by and watched, I appreciate it. I had over 200 views, which is, big for me. Anytime I get anything over like three, I'm a little bit happy. Okay, so pretty much, guys, I really appreciate it. I can't explain my appreciation enough. I'm gonna try this beat thing one more time. Okay, I remember in my Raw review, guys, I had this beat playing, and you heard it for like a second, and it went away. So I'm gonna try to get this to work. I have a microphone plugged in, and that's probably the reasoning why it's being weird, because I don't have my speaker with the microphone. So I'm gonna go grab me some water real quick, and I'm gonna come right back, and hopefully this will work the way I want it to work. I'll be right back. If you hear anything, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Okay. So I'll be right back in a couple of seconds. Okay, didn't really end the way I wanted it to, but anyway, guys, we're talking. Excuse me, Impact Wrestling for September the 3rd. This was what felt to me. I thought this was a stacked show. As far as I felt like a lot of the TNA shows recently have been really stacked shows. As far as there have been a lot of matches going on during these shows. And actually, when I counted the matches tonight, there were six matches to I think four, technically four promos. I guess the MVP backstage stuff wasn't much of a promo type of thing, so I guess it could technically be like three. So it seemed like there was a lot more wrestling than talking. And I know if I was hearing any complaints last week, it was about that there was a little more talking this week than it usually has been. But we started out tonight with Money, Power, Respect coming out to the ring, and MVP's pumping up Lashley as he's done being his mouthpiece, letting you know who Lashley is, what he represents, what he is. Like, he's a destroyer, he's the man, blah, 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 blah. And pretty much this provokes Joe to come out because MVP says, Lashley is the he didn't say the king of New York. He said that last week. He said he's the toughest man on the roster or something like that. Something to the degree of that. He said it's the toughest man on the roster. Joe comes out, well, I think I'm the toughest man on the roster. So this basically gets Joe jumped a little bit for a second there. It gets Joe jumped for like a couple seconds, and then pretty much what happens is this is basically going to set up a Joe versus Lashley match to see who is the toughest man on the planet. That's what he said. The toughest man on the planet is what he called Lashley, which makes a lot of sense, especially with Lashley going into this Bellator fight on Friday. I really encourage you guys to tune in. I'm actually going to tune in. I don't watch a lot of MMA. I do enjoy watching MMA when I get a chance to watch it, but I don't really watch it a ton, and I'm definitely going to watch it this week. It will be interesting to see because if Lashley, one thing I think would be cool if Lashley came out with the TNA World title, but another thing that would be cool is Lashley has to win this, right? I mean, he has to, dude. It's gonna put so much validity in the professional wrestling, into what they do in that ring. But also, you got to think about this: like, if Lashley doesn't win, it looks bad on TNA, doesn't it? A little bit, you know. Well, he's your world champion, but he can't win in the octagon or whatever. You know what I mean? So that was pretty much basically this setup. What I call it a fight later on in the night. That's basically what I called it. I basically called it a fight because it didn't really last long, but I actually thought it was pretty good, what we did see. Next we had a video package on Gail Kim and Terrence Terrell, basically building up the Terrell Kim 3. I guess technically it was 4 because we had 3 before and it got ended by a DQ, but let's not count that one and let's go with this being 3. Because I mean that was a Knockouts title match too, wasn't it? Dang, that changed a lot of things. But basically we were building up to this Knockouts title match between Gail Kim and Terrence Terrell, and this was actually the first match of the night. And I actually thought this video package kind of built it up like it was a pay-per-view type of match. So that really brought some validity into what we were watching with Gail Kim versus Terrence Terrell. So during this match, I mean, the thing about the pre-recorded episodes, people get on TNA so much about being, oh my gosh, you record so many in a week, and they're just so, people are always going to find something to complain about, right? People are always like, well, you're recording so many in a week, and spoilers, and goodness, I'll try my best to stay away from spoilers, but it's kind of hard sometimes, so try your best. Stay off the internet. Just don't get on the internet at all. If you weren't on the internet at all, I guess you wouldn't be watching this video or any videos at all on YouTube for that matter. You'd be living under a rock at that point. No Wi-Fi, no anything, just chilling. But the thing about the previously recorded episodes is the fans at home don't have to miss any action in the ring, right? And I noticed this last week, or it may have been at Hardcore Justice, where I saw a ton of wrestling during that show. So what happened was they didn't take a lot of commercials during matches, right? They took commercials more so during more so during the entrances and stuff like that. During the entrances and after promos and stuff like that. They didn't take them during the matches during that Hardcore Justice broadcast. So that was interesting, and I think it's smart how they do it as well, right? Because it's previously recorded. Yeah, you can run into spoilers. Yeah, it's not always the best thing for business per se, but don't get me wrong. As far as me watching the product for the first time on TV tonight, I felt like I really noticed it during this first match. Terrence Terrell came out. They took a commercial break, and then they came back, and Gail Kim came out. Which, obviously, if it was live, they couldn't really do that because you can't really waste that much time as far as that's concerned with the fans out there and stuff like that. Got a couple chants, actually a few chants in this match here. We had "We Want Puppies" chants. We had gosh, better than Divas chants, and this is awesome chants. And I thought this match was pretty good. It really was. It's the same thing I'm probably going to say about a couple of matches tonight. these guys just need these ladies at this point just need pay-per-view time. That's how I personally feel. It would be nice to see this at Bound for Glory. Um, Now some of the other ones I'm doing, obviously we're not gonna see them at Bound for Glory. Some of the other matches of the night, like Rockstar Spud and Rhino. We need some pay-per-view time for that. No, but seriously though, Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim, 3 or 4, however you want to put it, 3 asterisk, however you want to put it. Was a pretty good match to me. Um, there was a couple of just sick spots in this match, especially that neck breaker to Taryn Terrell on the steps where Gail Kim hit her with a neck breaker and she landed right back first on the steps. I obviously hurt them both, but you could just see how Taryn Terrell sold it. And I don't know, and it looked like she hit it pretty hard anyway. There was a 2 count on Eat the Feet and a 2 count on I don't know what we're calling it, the Taryn cutter, I guess. She does a little cutter now. That's pretty much her finisher at this point. The ending was a little bit interesting because Taryn Terrell hit Gail Kim with a cross body, and then Gail Kim does a little roll around where she gets on top of her and gets the pin, and it was interesting. I don't know, what did you guys like that ending, or did you think it should have ended with Eat the Feet? Because if you think about it, if we say it should have ended with Eat the Feet, then it's ending like that all the time. You know what I mean? Like a lot of Gail Kim's matches end with Eat the Feet, so it's a little bit different because, for one, if it was a pay-per-view, I may be mad with this ending. But since it was just a regular Impact show, this could continue to build the feud as well, right? After this match, after Gail Kim does get the win and retains her Knockouts title, we were getting some, not even vignettes, but it was more of we were getting hints towards Havoc debuting tonight. And basically, she confronts Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell. She shuts them both down, beats them up. Havoc is, interesting. It's a little interesting dynamic in the Knockouts division. We're seeing a lot of Knockouts that are similar, that are practically the same. So it'll be interesting to see Havoc bringing that different vibe to it. I don't know where ODB is at this point. I don't know if she's just done with wrestling or if she's doing something else right now. I'm not really sure. But it's interesting though, because you never really know what's gonna go down with ODB, because we haven't seen her in a while. I mean, it's been probably over a year since she's been in the ring, I'm thinking. But anyway, after Havoc with her debut, that was really interesting. It's going to be an interesting dynamic. It really is. Next, we have the Bromance Tinderella segment, where they're basically like, last week they were talking about how they pretty much matched with 2 knockouts on Tinder. And I'll tell you about who they were at the end in a little bit when it actually came up during the show. So we had a little Tinderella segment, and it looks like Robbie E's getting a little jealous of Jesse Goddard. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they're gonna try to break up the bromance, or if this is just gonna kind of bring them closer. Because we know who they brought in if you watch the show, so I'm gonna wait on that, and it may actually even bring them closer with being with the specific people that they're with. But then again, right? Next, we had an EC3 promo where EC3 said, was basically calling out Rhino, talking about how he beat up Rhino and how Rhino didn't do anything to stop Dixie from going through a table. Last week I mentioned the what thing during promos, and I was like, I'm so glad. Last week, I'm pretty much quoting myself at this point, because I remember exactly what I said. I said it last week during my review. I was like, it's so great to hear a promo without having to hear what during the promo. Of course, the New York fans heard me, right, during this previously recorded. They knew I was going to say that at this particular time, so they decided to do it the next week. It's just ironic how that worked out. We got the what chance, and pretty much I was just laughing to myself, because I'm like, I just mentioned this last week on my review, and of course the fans just troll me with that tonight, and obviously they can't do anything about it. They wouldn't know, you know what I mean? There was also some CM Punk chants by the New York crowd tonight, and EC3 just plays it off real well, as he does with the crowd all the time. He's like, I can beat him too. He's, CM Punk, I can beat him too. Pretty much. You know how EC3 is anyway. And then they go with the "you can't wrestle" chants. He's like, I'm tired of you guys talking about you can't wrestle, and of course that invokes him to say you can't wrestle. He's yes I can. I'm pretty good. And then he added a little new part tonight. I can't remember exactly what he said though. Darn it. God, I can't remember exactly what he said. He added something new in though. Um, I can't remember what he said though. If you get a chance to go back and watch it, he did add in a little bit of a couple of new parts in there to the instead of just saying I'm pretty good. Yes, I can. You know what I mean? He added in some new parts, so he's doing really good with his character right now. Next we had a little. I was about to say shunner segment. Goodness gracious, though, mixing up these names. Next we had God, I almost said it again. We had a Samuel Shaw. We had a Samuel Shaw, Gunner, and Brittany segment. And Brittany is checking Shaw out, so we know we're not watching a Rent-A-Center commercial at this point. Brittany is checking Shaw out at this point, and I'm thinking, Brittany, you can't be doing that. You're my girl and all. You can't be checking Shaw out. But I mean, if you're doing it for storyline, you're getting that money. I understand. I understand how it's got to be, but you know, you know, this is exclusive right here. But Brittany was checking Samuel Shaw out. Those pants she was wearing was quite ridiculous. And they were red, favorite color. She won after a man's heart, right? Yeah. I mean, what can I say? My biggest question is, what are they gonna do with this, right? What are they gonna do with this whole Brittany Shaw Gunner thing? Obviously, we feel like we know where they're gonna go with Gunner and Samuel Shaw. But where does Brittany tie in? We haven't seen Brittany in a while, especially in the ring, so it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with that. Pretty much this led up to the match between Gunner and Samuel, not between Gunner and Samuel Shaw, but it was a tag team match. It was Bragness, who was Brandon Magnus. I call him Bragness. It's a lot easier to say. It's probably why I'm mixing up Shunner at this point. Shunner versus Bragness tonight. Samuel Shaw and Gunner versus Brandon Magnus. It felt like Gunner had new music tonight. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I did. Well, it just sounded different. I'm not sure if it was new. Excuse me. I'm not sure if it was new, but it did sound different. And I was thinking Bram's back must be still messed up from that Hardcore Justice match because he wore a shirt the whole match. I don't know what's going on in my throat right now, but it's okay. We're gonna push through it. So Bram's back must have been pretty still messed up. I mean, from those the barbed wire spot he took, the tack spot he took. His back must be still pretty messed up, or he must be still in a little bit of pain. And you got to think these were recorded one day after another, so he's probably in a lot of pain at that point. I don't think he was even in the ring for a long time. It didn't feel like. Usually Bram carries a lot of the matches with Magnus when they're tagging together. He carries a lot of the match, I feel like, personally. But tonight it didn't feel like he was in the ring as long. I think they're really trying to heal that back up a little bit more. We had a little disagreement between Shaw and Gunner. You could see they're kind of not on the same page at this point anyway from the Shaw, Gunner, and Brittany segment just a few minutes ago. So pretty much Bram rolls up on Gunner. Shaw kind of was just a tad bit late trying to stop the pin. And Gunner's upset. And Shaw is just protective as he can be, which makes a lot of sense coming from the whole psychotic gimmick he has. When he had it with Christy Hemme, he was really protective over not only Christy Hemme but his mom. So the people who get close to him, he's really protective over them. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to go with this. I think Sonner, good gravy. I think Samuel Shaw is a better work in the ring than he gets credit for. So I think it'd be interesting to see what they're going to do with this. Anderson's obviously still in the mix somewhere around, so it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. MVP all night has been pretty much stirring the pot between Eric Young and Bobby Roode. They had the number one contenders match tonight, and MVP's been stirring the pot. He's been trying to let them know, hey, you guys were in Team Canada, but Rude was a little bit better than you, EY. And then EY, he goes to Rude and he's like, EY, he remembers this stuff you did to him in Team Canada, and Rude kind of just laughs it off. Um, After the commercial break, we realized that the bromance matched up with the beautiful people, and on this little Tinderella thing, whatever they were going for here. It's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do because it doesn't seem like they're gonna break up the bromance per se, but we haven't seen the bromance in the ring a lot recently. We've seen them a lot in promo type of things and promoting different stuff. It's really gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do with the bromance. Are they gonna break them up? Because we obviously feel like the beautiful people are gonna break up sometime soon, considering um, the way they're going about it. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with that. It really is. It's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do with the beautiful people, and what's going on with them. Next we had Bobby Roode versus Eric Young. I felt like this was set to be a great match. Um, and this was the match I was looking forward to. And who wasn't? I think if you're a wrestling fan and you know these two guys and you're a fan of their work, you know you can nothing but respect for these two guys. I can honestly see, this match was a good. This match was good. I'm sorry, I don't know if that sounded like it wasn't good. My words are mixing together today. I don't know. I feel like I'm in like some kind of mixer right now. But this match was pretty good to me. I feel like this match was pretty good. I feel like this match could be better if they had more time. That's honestly how I feel about a lot of things tonight. Not saying that they rushed it, not saying that, it was bad. I'm just saying if you get more time, there's more work to be done in the ring. You can put on better matches when you have more time. Um, and in a 2-hour show, when you get Joe versus, Joe versus Bobby Lashley, you get Rude versus EY, and you get Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim. I mean, like, you can't complain, but then again, you got to say, hey, let's, these guys deserve more time. I can honestly see a feud between these two during Bobby's title run. Obviously, TNA setting up for Bobby Roode to win the title. It makes a lot of sense. Bobby Roode's one of the best workers and best just overall packages in the freaking wrestling business right now. So it makes a lot of sense for them to make him pretty much the face of the company right now. There's no more AJ, so AJ is pretty much the face of the company. There's no more Christopher Daniels, so it makes a lot of sense for them to push Bobby Roode like they're pushing him. Um, I really could see a feud between Eric Young and Bobby Roode in the future, especially during Bobby's title run. We could see Bobby turn heel. We could see Eric Young say, you never did respect me, and then, it kind of go into a respect factor in another way. The DDT by EY was really good. It was really awesome. The way Bobby Roode sold it was good. Everything about that was good. Seeing the little bridge, I know if you guys ever played WWE 2K14, you get the little pin combination where like it'll turn from the roll up to the backslide to the roll over to like the bridge. But seeing that bridge in real life, like, I mean, I wasn't there, but seeing that bridge even on TV just looks ridiculous, man. And not ridiculous in a bad way by any means. It just looks like wow, like that. That's just crazy how you can do that. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, dude, I thought this was a good match. Bobby Roode wins with the Roode bomb. We saw them a lot of times reversing each other's moves. That's that typical "I know you," we have history type of thing that they do in the wrestling business a lot of times, and it makes a lot of sense. It's logical. I would love to see these guys get pay-per-view time at some point during Bobby's title run. I feel like Bobby deserves a long title run, and I also feel like EY deserves a shot at that title because I feel like that if they get pay-per-view time, or we don't feel like we're being rushed, they don't feel like they're being rushed, we don't feel like they're being rushed at all. I feel like they can put on potentially match of the year. We've seen some good matches from TNA this year, and I don't know what would be the match of the year per se. Maybe Aries versus Sonata, but I'm not sure. That was just on Impact, so you never really know, man. Like, God, it would just be so, like it would be so cool to see these guys in a pay-per-view match. Just giving some more time, right? Them, Terry Terrell, and Gail Kim, obviously, and then the main event with Bobby and Joe. That would be a good um, type of thing, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. Next week, it was revealed there was going to be a tables match for the tag team series next week. It makes a ton of sense because Team 3D won the first fall pretty much, and what else would they pick, right? I think everyone in the world who has watched wrestling and knows about the Dudleys probably knows what they were going to pick. Next, we had an X Division number one contenders match. It was basically a six-man match. We've been seeing a lot of the X Division showcased in the six-man type of matches in some sort of way every week. So, and I love it every week. Every time they do it. I don't know if it's getting old or not per se, because there was a time when we weren't seeing the X Division. So I'd rather see six-man matches every week with featuring the X Division than to not see the X Division at all. Let's be real. Homicide does win this match. And he pins Manic with the Gringo Killer. And then actually what happened, and I was actually hoping Manic would win this because I think he deserves it. He's been put in a doghouse, it feels like, for no reason. The man puts in some of the best work in the ring, and he just doesn't get a lot of praise for it. He gets praise from the fans, but not from the company, it feels like sometimes. And I feel like he's one of the most misused wrestlers in TNA, and I'm glad they're bringing him back. It's going to be interesting what they're going to do with Manic, though, because we saw the Great Sonata and James Storm capture Manic, and it's going to be interesting to see. James Storm's doing this Revolution thing, so it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with Manic, or how different he's going to look. Is he just going to come out looking like the Great Muta too? It's going to be interesting to see. I think if you want anyone to be kind of compared to the Great Muta, I understand the Great Muta is a legend, dude. I don't know much about the Great Muta, but I've heard a lot about him, and I've looked up some matches of him, and he was terrific in his prime. He still does pretty good work in that ring. I'm not even lying. It'll just be, if you want one person to be compared to Muta and one person to feud with Muta that's in TNA right now, and it's got to be Sonata, right? Sonata's built from Great Muta's mold, pretty much. If you watch Sonata, the moves that he does, and you go back and watch old, and this is before James Storm too. This is when he was first doing his stuff in TNA. If you go back and you watch Sonata's matches, when he first came into TNA, and you go back and watch some old Great Muta matches, like, not that they look like mirror images, but they're pretty close, and I feel like Sonata's a better worker in the ring, a really good worker in the ring to me personally. I said something about he wouldn't be able to get over as a face without talking, but actually I felt like he was getting over with the work he was putting in that ring, right? My question is, where is Kurt Angle during all this? Let's capture everyone ever in the X Division so we can, you know, renew them from their losing ways and let them see the light. Next, we had an Austin Aries promo, and he was calling out James Storm and Sonata um, after they had took away Manic. And my question here is, is what would be the better feud? Sonata Aries, Aries Storm, because Storm, I honestly think Storm does some good work in the ring. Don't get me wrong. I think, personally to me, TNA has some of the freaking most talented people in the business that don't even get the credit they deserve sometimes. I think James Storm is an underrated wrestler in that ring. As far as like work in the ring and how his psychology in the ring, how he tells his story throughout his matches, he might not be the best technical wrestler, but come on now. You can't give the man, you can't do the man. You can't do but so much, you know what I mean? You can't, not everybody, is the best technically, but they're still, you can still put good work in the ring if you're not the best technical wrestler. Um, excuse me. So basically, what happened here is Tajiri did come out, which was exciting, and it's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do with Tajiri because I know they had him set for some of the tapings. So it's honestly gonna be really interesting to see what they're gonna do with Tajiri because are they gonna let him feud with Sonata? Or because Sonata is kind of not necessarily out of the X division, but he's feuding outside of the X division with James Storm right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with that. Tajiri did come down to the ring and provoked Sonata and kind of delivered the kicks as Tajiri's known for. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do with that. Next we had Rockstar Spud versus Rhino because earlier in the night I forgot to mention this, but EC3 was calling out Rhino. He's like, Rhino, you want a match tonight? You'll get a match against Rockstar Spud. So Rockstar Spud scared out of his mind, and Rockstar Spud is just too funny, dude. He's coming out there with his little, what does he call himself? A tiger? I think he does. I think he calls himself a tiger and a gazelle, a tazelle or something. I don't know what he calls himself. He calls himself like some kind of tiger and gazelle type of thing. But gosh, it's the man's so funny, man. It's great. But Rockstar Spud versus Rhino here. Obviously, we know it's going to be a squash match. Rhino versus Rockstar Spud. Duh. you know, I'm thinking let's go Spud in this match. The fan in me is like, let's go Spud. We don't get to see a lot of Spud in the ring, which I kind of wish we would. And I honestly want to see Spud go into the X division. We're seeing the 6 main guys of the X division. There's obviously a couple more. You can make a case for the rest of the Bromans being in the X division, but they're a tag team right now, so it makes a lot of sense for them not to be. Kenny King, obviously, and Sonata and Austin Aries right now. So we have more than 6 people. They're just not always showcased in the X division per se. Next we had. Oh, I didn't even tell you what happened during the match, but during the Rockstar Spud Rhino match, Rockstar Spud, tries to find his inner EC3. He was about to get gory. He moves out of the way. He rolls out of the ring, grabs a trash can, and he's about to hit freaking. He's about to hit Rhino. The fans are cheering ECW, and Spud's like EC3. He's trying to start an EC3 chant. Turns around with the trash can. He's lifting it like he's powerlifting something, and freaking. Gets gored out of his boots, dude. And then that was the end of the match practically. And EC3 once again shows that he does not care about anyone but himself, which makes a lot of sense. He's a spoiled rich brat as far as his gimmick goes, so it makes a lot of sense for him not to care and never to take the blame for anything. It makes a lot of sense. Next, or even be blamed for anything, right? By Dixie, obviously. Next, we have we had the main event, which was Samoa Joe versus Bobby Lashley. I saw this match, and I'm like, it was only about 7 minutes, and I was like, at the beginning. Not that I was like, I thought it was actually really good for the time they were given, right? Excuse me. My thing was though, I was hoping that we would get a time limit draw. Reason being, it would it would make TNA say, this is a pay-per-view quality match right here. We can't do this in 7 minutes. But we did get a clear-cut winner, and it was Bobby Lashley. Of course, he's gonna win. Going into this Bellator fight, it makes a ton of sense. I wouldn't have been mad about the time limit draw though. I really wouldn't have. I would have been fine with that. If that would have happened, it would have basically just continued the feud until later, because I think this would be a really good feud. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen, though, because obviously Lashley's going to lose to Rude at some point. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do. And Kenny King also needs to be back in the X division. Thought the show was pretty good. I really did. I just want to, continue to see the shows from TNA. There wasn't a ton of talking in this show, but there was some, and I think a wrestling show without talking isn't even a mainstream wrestling show at this point, right? You're gonna see talking in wrestling shows. That's just what you're gonna see. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's below the video. At least I think it's below the video. It should be below the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, you guys can, leave a comment if you got something to say. If you guys feel like you didn't like the video, leave a comment. Let me know why. If you guys want to subscribe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on Twitter, at beastmode123100, you can. Once again, guys, I really appreciate the support on these videos, at least in terms of views. I haven't really gotten any feedback, but with the views, at least that's always a start. Guys, I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the subscribe button. If you didn't, let me know why. I'm always in this thing to improve, so let me know why you didn't enjoy it. I'll talk to you guys later. Hope for peace. Let me know about the track as well, because I do want to. I wouldn't mind playing that probably a little shorter than it was today and a better ending than whatever I did today. But obviously, if you guys could hear it and you guys liked it, I'll play it some more. Mix up some other stuff too. There's a couple tracks on that thing. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.